Hi again. Hi. So I'm Robert, and this is the final broadcast of the MOOC. So congratulations if you actually made it here. And I know actually quite a lot of people have because there's been a lot of people who've been emailing in their assignments and a lot of people who've been clicking through the MOOC on Teachable. So that's fantastic to see. And yeah, again, we'll see a few of you in Sibiu next month, in a few days actually now. This MOOC is doing two things. One, it's discussing very broadly some international funding support that exists for youth work action on a local and international level. If you're thinking about running projects on violent radicalization and youth work as preventive practice or any other youth engagement program. And secondly, it's going to be a quick look at assignments and how that's going, as well as a wrap up and a thanks and what to expect in terms of accreditation. So first, youth work supports. So if we look at the key institutions in terms of funding at an international level for youth projects are the infamous Erasmus Plus and also the Council of Europe's European Youth Foundation. And these are the two most prominently featured sources of funding for youth work and youth projects and at an international level. And the Council of Europe is actually supporting this MOOC and the subsequent training in Sibiu. So that's just an example of some of the things that it funds. So the Council of Europe, what is it? It's been covered before, but it's an intergovernmental network of 47 member states surrounding, building their interaction on the basis of three pillars of human rights, democracy, and rule of law. And as part of this, democracy is democratic citizenship, it's engagement, and they fund youth projects which align with those fundamental principles and their strategic priorities. So the Council of Europe has a few different funding streams for national and international projects. So the first is an international activity, which is an international meeting in Europe, which contributes to the work of the youth sector in Europe on the Council of Europe topic, methodology, and with a clear European dimension. So it's an international activity which brings together people at an international level to focus on a Council of Europe strategic priority and brings a European dimension to the project. And all of these are available. If you type in Council of Europe European Youth Foundation, then you will find all this information. This is a quick overview. You can also have an annual work plan. So if you're an NGO or an international NGO, you can apply for a work plan from the Council of Europe, which is a series of activities on a topic, again, on one of the strategic priorities, which the Council of Europe will fund for a year. And ESIC, the European Confederation of Youth Clubs, this MOOC is part of one of those strategic priorities and their one of their annual work plans. So then there's also a structural grant. So it's a structural grant a structural grant it funds the basic functioning of an organization. So you can apply for a structural grant for consecutive years and for general administrative costs. You could this grant, it facilitates the grassroots running of an organization at a national, international, or local level. You can use that money to pay for an employee. I mean, there's all sorts of strings attached to these grants, but it's a way of receiving money for the basic running of an organization. And also there's pilot activities. So pilot activities are quite a special one because they can be run just on a local level, just within one country, which is quite unusual for international funding. These pilot activities are like an intervention project. They're addressing a specific societal challenge in a certain context, and money is being given to support an organization to tackle that. It's called a pilot project. A pilot project is a once-off to try and change an issue. See, does this work? Is this worth doing again? So it's a nice, innovative, experimental way of the Council of Europe exploring alternative ways to look at problems and societal issues. So that's the Council of Europe streams of funding. Again, it's available online, the Council of Europe European Youth Foundation, and also Erasmus Plus. So Erasmus Plus is it's a flagship EU project. It's funded under the multi-annual financial framework as a way to support education and international learning opportunities for young people in Europe, which is people under 35. So there's three different key actions under Erasmus, but fundamentally, key action 1 is the mobility of individuals. Key action 2 is cooperation for innovation and exchange of good practice. And key action 3 is a support for policy reform. So key action 1, the mobility of individuals. This is all about providing opportunities for individuals to improve their skill, enhance their employability, and gain cultural awareness. Under Key Action 1, organizations can apply for funding to run mobility projects to offer structured study, work experience, job shadowing, training, and teaching opportunities to staff and learners. So Key Action 1 covers the 5 fields of higher education, vocational education and training, schools, adult education, and youth. So that's mobility and learning opportunities for young people. So that's very appropriate for youth work action. There's also Key Action 2, which is cooperation for innovation and exchange of good practice. So sorry, there's a dog that's just come in. So this is about enabling organizations to work together in order to improve their provision for learners and to share innovative practice. So under Key Action 2, organizations can apply for funding to work in partnership with organizations from other participating countries, and covers the 5 fields of higher education, vocational education and training, schools, adult education, and youth. So Key Action 2 is cooperation and exchange of good practice and ideas. So you can see the international element coming into play here, and that's accessible for organizations to work together and to receive funding to engage with each other on a topic. So Key Action 3 is support for policy reform. That's also known as a structured dialogue action. So this key action covers any type of activity aimed at supporting and facilitating the modernization of education and training systems. Under Key Action 3, the Erasmus Plus program will fund strategic activities supporting policy reform across the EU in education, training, and youth. And Key Action 3 covers the fields of higher education, vocational education and training, schools, adult education, and youth. So that's the European Union's Erasmus Plus funding. But there's also, aside from the Council of Europe and the European Union with Erasmus Plus, there are other routes for funding. So a lot of international NGOs offer seed funding. So through funding of their own, they will be able to offer a series of injections of funding to projects at a local level. ESIC is running one later this year, so keep your eyes peeled. So a seed funding project would be where an organization can apply to a network and have an idea for projects and ask for a sum of money between €1,000 and €3,000, let's say. And this money then can be used at a very local level to intervene or to create a youth work action. So that's a seed funding. International networks like ESIC, for example, can also offer logistical support. They can offer a forum for interaction with other national networks or local networks. International networks are a space for communication and exchange of ideas and good practice, and a space for dialogue. And that's a very important thing to have as the youth worker, is access to a network. The second point of this MOOC stream was to look at the assignments and how that's going. There have been a huge amount of assignments sent in already, so this is also a reminder to those who haven't to quickly send those in, because at the start of next month they'll all be looked at, and then once those have been evaluated, the certificates will be sent out, and they'll be fancy with the Council of Europe logo and the ESIC logo, and congratulations, you've completed an introduction to youth work as a preventive practice. And again, just to reiterate, this MOOC is a very basic alphabetization of the topic. It's such a broad topic that has so much research and literature and publications made on this that it's very useful to have a basic understanding of several key areas so that you can then dig into it further if you're going to be working on this topic. But also, yeah, we live in 2018. We're all very busy, and in the interest of pragmatism, it's not very easy to view these videos if you want information quickly. So we've also created a PDF which will be published next week. It's a booklet that will accompany this MOOC. Every MOOC session has been turned into a page or two and some links to resources, so that instead of watching through these videos, if you need to have a quick intro to a topic again, you can just have a look at this booklet, and there's the introductions to the different areas again. So that's exciting, and that'll be sent out next week. And also accompanying that will be a link to ESIC's online library. So we've created a digital library of 120 different publications from different institutions and organizations looking into youth work, informal education, and radicalization. So research and publications in this area, and they're all linked to and sorted and alphabetized in this digital library. So it's a great resource to just find a publication on the spot, and that's, you know, it's a very useful resource to have, and we started using it already here at ESIC. And finally, good luck with your assignments, and we're looking forward to seeing a few of you in Sibiu. And there's also, if you want to stay in touch with ESIC, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also you can send us an email anytime. We're always open to new ideas and engagement. And beyond that, there's also our national networks in 20 different countries that you can engage with if you're looking for national competency on a specific youth work issue. And this is ESIC's first MOOC. It's a test run for the concept, and we're looking forward to in future trainings to engage with it a bit more, to see what we can do again, and to see how much of a difference this has made to the quality of the training that we're able to deliver in person. So this is so thank you for being involved in our MOOC, and again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at any point. So thank you very much for engaging this MOOC. Any questions with your assignment, send them away and we'll answer those. Thank you.